Hello everyone, this is Candid Talk on Source TV. I am Femi Peters. I am joined by Prince Hadi Sani, the Special Assistant to the State Governor on Inter-Ethnic Affairs. It's a pleasure to have you, Prince
Pleasure
Sani.
having you, Mr. Peter.
You know, Nigeria is blessed with over 300 ethnic groups. However, Nigerians have been inundated with series of religious intolerance amongst these ethnic groups. Now we have somebody whose expertise is on inter-ethnic affairs. We would like to ask that how did we get here, who and what are responsible?
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. Actually, you cannot really understand the in-depth and the whole circumstances around this without appreciating the history, how we came about as a country. We cannot deny the fact that Nigeria is a plural society, as we said, with over 300 ethnic groups. But we should also overlook to the fact that the origin of Nigeria is as a result of a Berlin Conference of 1885 that would bring about European countries having access to Africa.
Yes.
British then got the approval to lead Nigeria and other Anglophone countries. So it happened to be a kind of allocation. So one way or the other, we find ourselves allocated under British. So different groups, ethnic groups like Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, which are majorly are being carved out together to bring about Nigeria. And 1914 bring about the amalgamation of Southern and Northern Protectorate.
Yes.
So we have to admit the fact that that formation has bring different ethnic groups together. We are together now, then we have no choice than to see how to foster the unity to bring about development in the country. We've been faced with several issues in the country.
Yes.
And we cannot overlook the extent of the damages. If I'm not mistaken, looking out of school children alone is over 18.5 million.
Yes.
Based on UNICEF. That is the highest number in the entire world. Currently, Nigeria we are housing the highest number of out of school children. Why? It's as a result of the insecurity. What brings about the insecurity? You cannot also overlook the fact that we are having issues between different ethnic groups and different religions. We keep nailing this issue, we keep widening it, we keep compounding it. And the moment we do not accept the fact that any issue that comes across a certain ethnic groups in this country, it will later degenerate into a national issue. The insecurity we are facing in the northern part of the country, initially, we look at it as a regional issue, but the spillover effect will make it a national issue as what we are facing now. And one of the damages of insecurity, terrorism, banditry, kidnapping and what have you, it doesn't end so cheaply. That is why one of the best ways to address them is to manage the relationship. If you are not managing ethnic relation, we keep compounding it. If we keep promoting ethnic profiling, it will not help issues. It's one of the major problems we are facing. We see kidnapping, banditry as a regional issue, forgetting the fact that it will end up spilling over into other regions. Southwest is one of the most peaceful regions in the country now. And one of those things we are getting it right, specifically Ogun State, is we invest so much in engagement. We engage a lot. We create stakeholder engagements. We create symposium. We make sure we communicate. We do not allow vacuum. If there is vacuum, there will be problem. And it is easier to kill matters at the primary level before escalating than using force, which are security agencies when these issues have escalated. I will give you data and figures.
Okay.
A case study of US after 9/11, that was 2003, when they had an issue of terrorism, Iraq, US, when there was that bombing. 20 years back the line, they were unable to win that terrorism fact based on military might. So that shows it's not easy to win terrorism via military might. I think they've invested roughly sum of over $80 trillion within those regions fighting terrorism. They have casualty of over 900,000 casualties. At a point in time, some months back, US have to withdraw from Iraq. That shows you it's not easy to win terrorism and some criminal tendencies if you allow them to grow. Our retired Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant Colonel Brutai, he also said after he left the service that it takes us nothing less than 20 years to win that battle. It is so frustrating. But what is the lesson? The lesson, we hope we can win this battle as fast as possible. But why am I giving this data and figures is for us to take out a lesson. If we are managing a situation like Southwest as an example, that it has not degenerated into that extent, people should appreciate the fact that we all have to come together and invest and contribute our quota towards managing this relative peace we are enjoying. We have to. I actually pity Southeast when I see them compounding such problem for themselves through IPOB and what have you. If this issue commences, it is very, very difficult to bring down in totality through military might. That is why I also have to use this medium to call on the federal government to invest hugely on engagements, communication. We have to also, while we are using the security might, we have to invest so much in dialogue, in communication. We have to discuss with people. Communities that are not tense now, we need to keep engaging them to make sure they do not find themselves into that kind of scenario. I think it's a serious issue we have to look into. And the issue of religion, we are putting religious sentiment in virtually everything we do, especially in governance and politics. And I see that as a selfish interest. At times people, when they are going after power, they want to use their ethnic or religious segment to get into the power. But if you look the data and figures, there is no relationship between ethnic relation and economic growth. A case study of our president, General Muhammadu Buhari, he's from Katsina, he's the #1 citizen of this country, the president. He's from Katsina, Dora specifically. Katsina is one of the most insecure states in the country. Then, looking at the analysis, it is obvious that the president of the country is your kinsman. That does not mean there will be economic growth in your region. That does not mean. Even in your country, even in your state, even in your town, if the president cannot is the president of the country and there is huge insecurity in Katsina, then I see no reason why an electorate or we should not be agitating that it must be my kinsman before I should be secured. If that is the case, Katsina should be one of the most secure states in the country, but no.
It should be. It should be.
The Chief of Army Staff, Burutai, retired. He was from Borno. He was there for how many years? Borno was still tense.
Yes.
These are pure analysis that shows you it is not, the head of the country must not be from your faith or from your country before you feel secured, before you enjoy economic prosperity.
So you don't think that this should be attributed to poor leadership at the center?
Definitely, any leader will not shy away from his responsibility.
Okay.
Constitutionally, the major responsibility shouldered upon the leader is welfare and security of his people is saddled upon him, Section 14 as amendment in the Constitution. So he cannot shy away from that. Any leader will not shy away from that. But we all know it is a compounded problem, both leaders and followers. But primarily, for you to assume an office, you must take upon that responsibility to make things work. It's on that note you see us, we never take it lightly in engaging our teeming residents of Ogun State, because we know what it takes if this crisis becomes escalated. You see us investing hugely in engagement at the grassroots level. We never joke with that. Yeah. We never allow any vacuum.
Let's go back to ethnic profiling now. It is when we have issues of banditry, it is always assumed that it's always the northerners behind it. It's always assumed that it's always the northerners behind it. When you have herdsmen attacks, for instance, the assumption is that it's Fulani herdsmen now. Now, what do you think this is like? Why do you think this is the norm? Why do you think this is happening? This profiling, it is at an all-time high. Why?
Actually, it is not an issue that came up from nowhere. Maybe reoccurrence of those actions made it easy to attribute that to a certain ethnic group. Yes. But the North itself found become guilty of several insecurities and social vices as a result of our borders that are porous. We have a very loose border post. Let me take you back a little bit to when Muammar Gaddafi got defeated by US.
Yes.
Yes. I think that country faced a whole lot. One of all his army and his men that are defending him, at that point in time when the attack was coming, he has no choice than to release so many ammunitions for them to defend him. And when they got defeated, they split all over. To Sudan, to Cameroon, to Niger Republic, and they found themselves easily to Nigeria. Why Nigeria? I should ask that question. Nigeria is one of the most economic viable country among all these countries you mentioned.
Yes,
so it's easier for you to perpetrate your evil act and make huge amount of money in Nigeria than in Niger. Niger have a very weak economy. Sudan, you cannot compare them to Nigeria. That war that it was being conquered, so many criminals got spread out because their principal has been defeated and they are being hunted everywhere. The northern region has a very porous border with all those countries. That was how some northern part of the country specifically become so criminalized.
But the president, has closed the border for quite a number of times.
Closing border is in principle, is in document. Our border is far wide enough beyond what you can close and go and sleep. Okay. It's not possible. It is not even possible. The only thing we can achieve may be huge investment in technology to monitor it, and in which I think we've not done a whole lot. But because when you get to the local border, you just see it a major gate. From that gate you are seeing, you can walk from here to Lagos. From any other area you can enter Nigeria.
Yes.
So what I now say,
nobody can identify you as a foreigner.
Closing border is in principle, and they are doing their best. Government are doing their best, but the problem is so compounded. It's on that note that I said it's a collective responsibility. Right. We all have to play our quota. The moment we keep hammering on that ethnic profiling, it's not me, it's you, it's not me, it's you. It will all consume us later. Yeah. The issue of bombing, criminality, shooting, then maybe 15, 20, 30 years back, we used to see it from Iraq.
Yes.
You watch it on news. You just say, it can never happen here. Yes. Gradually, we start experiencing. Yeah. So not until when you see something from afar, it is a collective problem. Now, most of these problems are national problems, not regional problems any longer. They are national problems. It's quite important that we see these evil people as criminals against Nigeria, not a region against another region, not a tribe against another tribe, not a religion against another religion. Let me also narrow it down to Southwest. If you keep associating leadership to religion, that it must be this religion before you can achieve this. From with the entire Southwest governors out of 6, we only have 1 Muslim. And governance is fine. There's everything is going fine. So can you now justify that it must be a Muslim before you enjoy governance? Then if that, why is Southwest relatively peace? So it's not about religion. If you say it must be a Muslim before you enjoy governance, Southwest is doing fine, really economically, in terms of security, relatively fine. If you say it must be a Muslim before you enjoy governance, then why are we facing problem in the North? Why is president having issue in his state?
In his own state.
Why is chief of army staff having issue in his state? Chief of army staff is as powerful, is the symbol of authority. Yes. If president feel insecure, if everything become blocked for the president, the next person will call is chief of army staff. Because it is after the police have become exhausted. So if as huge as US attack on Nigeria, at that moment is even beyond IG now. So if as powerful as chief of army staff, his state is not secured. So it has nothing to do with religion. Governance and delivery of community has nothing to do with religion or ethnic. I think I've been able to give you these 2 narratives that if truly religion and ethnicity has something to do with economic growth and feeling secured, then the northern region should have been the most secure region in the country. Exactly. So it's high time we have to look issues based on facts and figures, based on competency and the way they approach us.
And let's talk about the role of religious and traditional leaders in achieving communal peace.
You just mentioned one of the most critical aspects towards achieving a peaceful community in the state. They are major stakeholders. As I said earlier on, by the virtue of our field experience, we get to understand that it is the primary responsibility we need to invest so much on is that engagement and communication. If you keep investing in security agencies, then maybe you are inviting problem. Because
why?
Security agency will only go when there's problem. Then don't allow even the problem come on board.
Okay, so
how can you achieve that?
We should not be reactive. We must
proactive. So if you think you are equipping security agencies, then you are saying the problem come, I want to attack it. No. That has happened in other regions, and we see that it is not the best solution. It is not the best solution. We are facing it deeply in the northern part of the country. So the best thing is, while we are at still the foundational problem, we also feel, at a point in time, people feel aggrieved. So we have to invest so much. We have to encourage these religious leaders and community leaders. That is what we keep engaging them.
But don't you think some religious leaders are also funny members of discord? They are also, they're also eating up the polity, because you go to some religious centers and some of them are even advocating for certain, candidates.
They are human. There will be that human tendency, but government as a regulator and their agency as a regulative agency has to come on board. At a point in time, Kaduna State government, I think, banned religious activities openly. At a point in time, they said everyone have to come and register.
Yes, I remember.
So it is the responsibility of the authority to regulate, if not regulate, to keep engaging them. If you keep engaging them, some it might be ignorance. Some, it's not as if they want to be wicked to the governance, they want to be wicked to the country, but that is how they understand it. That is their mindset. Some, you can have a discussion with them, it can dissolve that mindset. So that is why we take it upon ourselves to keep that engagement going. We never cease, we make it keep occurring. We never allow a vacuum. We keep engaging. Some, we might even convince them, and they will just come on board and start preaching the peaceful aspect we want them to preach. All these religious agencies, as a matter of fact, you cannot detach them from some of the criminal aspects. Yeah. Like in Zamfara, I think last week, a royal father has to give a chieftaincy title to one bandit. State government has to come on board and suspend him and launch an event. That's why you cannot really say they are not saints in totality. So the regulative agency has to be in touch with them. So government cannot just leave them to continue doing what they are doing, or at least their regulative agency. That's a case study. We also have an issue. I think day before yesterday, from Anambra State, the governor just launched a committee to make even native doctors, all of them have to come and register. Why? They observe there is a relationship between the native doctors and the criminal tendencies. All those people are kind of perpetrating criminal acts. Most, over 80% of them, when they got arrested, in the process of investigation, those native doctors are the one building them up spiritually. Wow. So the governor have to just announce it, I think day before yesterday, that all native doctors have to come and register, so that they will intimate them, as to at least communicate with them that if anything goes wrong and your name is being flagged, you are in trouble. So that shows you we believe in them, we believe in religious leaders, we believe in community leaders to play a vital role. That's why we keep engaging them to sensitize them. So what Governor of Anambra did was that he acknowledged they play a role either in building the community or destroying the community. So what you need to do as a local agency is to engage them. That's why I told you, it's one of the most critical aspects in the situation we are in this country, engagement. You have to keep engaging, you have to keep discussing, you have to keep analyzing issues, you have to keep enlightening each other. It helps a lot in dousing the tension.
All right, on the final note now, as we approach the 2023 general elections, we believe Nigerians are more polarized now than ever. We have a Yoruba man who is contesting on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have the Labour Party candidates, that's His Excellency Peter Obi. We also have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is contesting on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. Do you think the Nigerians will be voting along ethnic lines? Because the southwestern people, they believe that it's time for one of them to get to Aso Rock, whilst the southeast people also think that it is their time to also produce presidents, while the northerners also maybe a section of the North also believes that power should remain in the North. So do you think Nigerians will be voting along ethnic lines in the 2023 elections?
Information is power in everything we do in life.
Yes.
Most of our agitation are ignorant agitation. If you are well informed, there are some arguments you're not even involved upon. You will not compare my line of argument to someone that is comfortable somewhere, maybe in his comfort zone, maybe in his region, maybe in a certain area he was born there, he has never left there. But when you have, when to a certain level you have an exposure, you've been able to move around the country, you have experience, you know what it takes to preach a balance in the society, balance in the country. There's some agitation, you will not even bring them up. Because some people just sit down at their comfort zone and just believe Nigeria is all about that area they are.
Yes.
Not minding the fact that it is a kind of extended a nation that have over 250 to 300 ethnic groups. So how can you just think your own mindset, your own ethnic group mentality should decide what happens in the country? In as much as I don't want to dwell so much into that, is that you have to, people that are informed will know that you have to take a decision for the interest of the nation, yes, not along ethnic or religious line. Someone like me can never do that. Maybe by the virtue of the information I have, the exposure I have, and the deep knowledge I have about managing the country like Nigeria. If you have that mindset, if you have that zeal of building a united Nigeria, you can never take a decision by the true religious or ethnic line. You won't do that, because the moment you are pitching your tent through that, Nigeria will never balance. You can allow the governance go along delivery, competency, and maybe the politics can decide that, but not strictly on religious and ethnicity. Not religious and ethnicity. I think I cannot subscribe to that notion, because I know Nigeria is far compounded beyond that narrow mentality.
Thank you very much, Prince Hadi Sani. Yes, we've been speaking with Prince Hadi Sani, the Special Assistant to the State Governor on Inter-Ethnic Affairs. I remain Femi Peters. Thank you.